before we get started, you may wonder who on earth is this woman with a French accent? Well, my name, as you can see here, is Cécile Bastien-Remy, and yes, it's all completely French. If we have people from the UK, I'm a true frog, absolutely. And what I do is, well, communication is my business. I'm a corporate communication trainer. I'm a speech coach. I'm a speech writer for CEOs that, have trouble to find time to write their own speech. I'm also a TEDx speaker and a keynote speaker. And with all that, what is the core and the element of everything that I'm doing right now is confidence. And that's what we are going to talk about today, because it's all started with a lack of confidence, actually, where I couldn't even face an audience, where I had really a lot of trouble to talk and be exposed. So perhaps you are feeling in this place, or perhaps right now you do have moments, communication moments, where you feel the confidence, your confidence might be vanishing. So what are we going to cover today? Let me give you the agenda. So as you can see, the agenda is actually my slide. My virtual background is actually the slide. So, but if you want the slide deck at the end, no problem whatsoever. I can forward that to Dee. That will probably be able to dispatch it to you all. So we've done the introduction part. You know who I am. You know which environment we are dealing with within the confidence. But really the core of this time we're going to spend together is going to first go around the reflection, thinking about what you're feeling about confidence. How do you define confidence? Then I'm going to move on to the content, and the content will be divided up into 3 more parts. One part about resilience, which is a very, very dear topic to me. Another part that's going to be with mental hack or positive intelligence. What is it that we can help our cognitive self? What is it that we can handle the emotions to help us with feeling confident? And the last part is going to be of the content is going to be about how the body, your body is a fantastic tool that we are underutilizing, and we can really help, that really can really help us to get the confidence back, or, settle it strongly before we have a difficult communication moment. And the last part is going to be about a challenge, not for me. No, this time it's going to be a challenge for you, where you're going to be set into groups and we are going to make yourself accountable to move on towards your vision. Yes, being fantastic ladies with confidence in and out. To introduce the topic of confidence with storytelling. I love stories. I think with stories, we learn and we can engage absolutely everyone. And it's the story of a businessman. And this businessman is really, really, and by the way, could also be a businesswoman. Actually, I'm going to create this new character. It's a businesswoman. And this businesswoman has been struggling making a company run smoothly. Everything is in the red. The bank accounts are not looking good. And one day she's on a bench, sitting down, her head in her hand, feeling extremely sorry for herself, wondering if she just simply has to file for bankruptcy. And an old guy came in towards her and asked her, well, what's wrong with you, lady? And she just started to, the gates and floods were open, and she just told him everything that went wrong with her life and with her business, and da-di-da-di-da. So, but they had a meaningful conversation around business, so much so that at some point, the old man opened his coat, put his hand in his back pocket, and retrieved a checkbook. And he wrote something on the checkbook, teared the little splitters of paper, and gave a check to this businesswoman. So the businesswoman was just like wondering, what on earth is that? And the old gentleman said, look, I think you have great potential. So this is for you to feel secure financially for a couple of times. We meet in 1 year time, same place, same time, in 365 days. And then you give me my money back. So she was listening, and at some point she put the eyes down on the piece of paper and she read $1 million. Now the check was signed John D. Rockefeller. I don't know how old you are behind your screen because I can't see you all, but John D. Rockefeller was at some point the richest man on earth. And by the time she lifted her eyes again after discovering this huge amount of money, thank you. Let me see. Yeah, I see now people with pictures. I can see your age. But anyway, by the time she lifted up her head, the old man was gone and she couldn't say anything. So then she had two options. Should I cash the check straight away and then all my financial troubles will just vanish? Or should I just wait and put it in a safe and I can perhaps try new things? So guess what? She didn't cash the check. She just put it in a safe because she had some idea. She was a bit fearful to try, fearful to risk. But with that, she found, the courage. And she did right because within 3 months, everything was back with the green light. Everything was beautiful. The sales were rising, and 1 year, 365 days came by. And guess what? She was waiting for the old man on the bench. And she waited and waited and waited, but it was nowhere to be found. Eventually, after a good 30 minutes, hey, I live in Switzerland. So if you're late by 5 minutes, that's it, you canceled. So after 30 minutes, which is from Swiss standard, huge, it's like the next day. After 30 minutes, she saw the shape of an old man crossing towards the gate. So she thought, well, he's not that young, so I should probably get up and go and talk to him. So she stands up and starts walking with a big smile, her arm wide open. She's got so much to tell him, all the business adventure that went round. And as soon as she was about to approach the old man, a nurse interfered and put a body between the businessman and the old man, the businesswoman and the old man. And the nurse went, sorry, lady, the old man, he keeps running away from the old people's home and pretends to be John D. Rockefeller. Anyway, sorry for the inconvenience. Have a nice day, madam. You can just imagine. She was gobsmacked. She was gutted. She was in shock. She had no idea. All those years, she was taking risk and risk after risk. And all it was just a piece of paper worth nothing. So after a little bit of reflection, the businesswoman understood what this piece of paper gave her. He gave her back confidence, the confidence that she has lost. So let's see how we can find ways for you ladies to always have at hand that piece of paper that produces that magical mojo, that magical energy to you and give you your confidence back. So before we carry on, I want to ask you a question. With confidence, you have won before you have started. Think about it. Would you agree, disagree, or not quite sure? Well, I'm going to invite you to participate. Let me share my screen. You are going to need a mobile phone or your screen, and you're going to have to type in a code and answer the poll. So just give me 1 second and I shall share the screen with you. All right, I let you feel. So go to menti.com, type the code 8768827, and please let me know if, yes, you agree. With confidence, you have won before you have started. Yes, I agree 100%. Or, well, there's some truth in this statement, or this is complete nonsense, Cecile. It's going to take a little bit of time. Aha, so right now, it's 50-50. So we're going to let run because we are over 20. So just for all the result to be combined, let's see what kind of statistic we're going to For some, it's complete nonsense. So how are we doing? We need a couple more to vote. But right now, I would say the tens, there is like, okay, there is some truth in this statement, but there is so much more to it. So I'll let this poll close now, and I'm going to get back to you. Okay. Now I would like to interact some more with you as well. What is confidence? What does it mean to you? I would like to invite you to use the chat box and see what it is for you. And I'll see if I can grab some of the... Okay. To believe in oneself. I think that was Leonie. Elisa, to trust in my own abilities. Absolutely, Elisa. Who else? So we have Leonie that typed that she had. Emma, to know I can do anything. Wow. Isn't it wonderful to be able to think that? Alice, present confidently. Absolutely. Confidence is a projection, a presentation. So how can you, sometimes it doesn't really matter how we feel, but how do we project to others? So we have Emma, Alice, Mariana, the feeling or belief that one can have faith or rely on someone or something. Absolutely, it's a copy and paste from a dictionary, but this is the exact definition, Marianne. Absolutely, you're right. What else do we have? Lara, Marie, to feel okay. Yeah, to be willing to take calculated risk from Elisa. A cultivated feeling inside oneself, something you have to work at and even trick your brain to learn. Oh, wonderful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much. We have one more from Brigitte. To deal with situation in which you don't have all the facts. So that's basically confidence is all of that, ladies. You're completely right. It's interesting because with confidence, we know when we have it in front of us, but how to build it up sometimes can be a little messy. I would like to show you a quick video of a lady that has been involved with something that is happening in the news lately with the exploration of Mars. And I personally see confidence. So let's discover who this lady is, and then we'll come back again together. Let me give you 1 second so I can put the correct tab. Okay, 1 more second and I will be with you. Okay, share screen now. Yep. Okay, here we go.
When I was a kid, coding was terrifying. I wasn't really sure I could be an engineer. I think it's the idea of being an explorer and doing something new, right? And what we're doing, no one has ever done before. We're pushing the boundaries of exploration. I get to talk to a spacecraft on Mars every single day. All that information is really important to send other missions to Mars, but also eventually send humans. Being a NASA engineer doesn't mean that you have to be a math nerd with glasses on. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something, right? I am not your typical engineer. I don't look like anyone in Apollo 13, and yet I'm here. And that's because I pushed forward and ignore the fact that maybe I was not the expected engineer.
Viele Menschen denken, dass
You're muted, Cecile.
That's it. I'm back. I'm back. So again, let's use the chat box, okay? And what's your feeling when you listen to this young lady, Farah Ali Bey? I personally see confidence. Now, can you just use the emoji, the reaction button, and see if we all agree on that? Do you think that she's confident? Just use a little thumbs up, a little, yes, Tuku, okay, Mireya, I see Holly as well, Marianne, Ruby. I don't see all of you, so I might not be able to say your name, but Katarina as well, Maria, so we agree on that. So in the chat box, can you just let me know what it is about her that makes her so confident? I would like to hear from you how you perceive her confidence. And I'm going to give you, a minute to think about that. And then we're going to start reading as soon as the information comes through. The body language. That was Brigitte. Brigitte. We have Emma as well, proud of what she's doing and knows she's making an impact. Katarina, the tone of voice. Alice, she did not care about other people's preconception about what an engineer should be. Absolutely. Elisa, a clear voice and language. Sheka, she accepts herself the way she is. Sometimes it's that simple. It seems simple. While she speaks, she gives the vibe that she actually knows what she's doing. Tuktuku, yeah, absolutely. She has that confidence, that mojo, that's just, and it really shines. And you just want to work with her. I mean, I am not at all an engineer. I can't even do calculation, but I would love to work with her because she seems not knowledgeable and passionate. So all those things are things that she accepted to do the video, exactly, which is not always easy for people to sometimes listen to the voice or look at themselves on the video. Absolutely, that's a very good point. She's not imitated by others in her field. She's basically creating a new trend. She's a trend setter. She's a thought leader. Lara Marie, she's okay with being different and doesn't care about common definition of engineers. Absolutely. You know, if you want to be an engineer, let's define how you want to do it. So this is really, really cool. All the answers are just fantastic, ladies. Thank you so much. Now, again, we're going to use the chat box. I would like to know, ladies, what is your biggest confidence challenge? I'm going to give you a little bit more time because it's this reflection is paramount for the next step. So what is your biggest confidence challenge? And again, we'll read the answers from the chat box. And I'll have a sip of water with ginger. It's for the voice. Take your time on this one. Lara Marie, I'm a project manager on a project where all project members and people involved are much more experienced than I am. Mariana, myself, I just have too high standard for myself. Oh, that's something we're going to talk about. Mariana, you're going to love it. Emma, talking to people with authority positions or peers, and they should listen to me. Mireya, when I work with only men team, most cases, I feel like I have to prove myself. They don't put any boundaries to me. but being the only young woman, I feel too pressure. Brigitte, I struggle to maintain confidence when facing challenging questions on subject I feel I don't master 150%. Maria, I feel incompetent at everything. Katarina, I feel like an imposter and I should know much more about what I'm doing. Leonie, not to care too much about how others sees me. Absolutely. And Elisa, to create an inspiring vision of myself when influence comes from so many sides. Gosh, you know, it's unbelievable. Every time I run a workshop on confidence, guess what? I read exactly a couple of words difference, all right, but I read more or less all the time the same thing. Brigitte, oh, I second the imposter syndrome. I need to feel I know more than I do. And Alice, I'm afraid to be wrong when I talk, ask, question, and talk to peers. And Tuktu, I always underestimate my abilities and technical capabilities. I do not feel a successful engineer and find others more successful. Thank you so much for opening this vulnerable self. I really respect that and I thank you very much. But you know what? Just writing it down, it's already the beginning of a wonderful, wonderful, and I can guarantee you, successful journey. Okay? Now, let's have a look at the meat, the content, the tool that you can use to get that mojo back. So the content I'm going to deliver right now is divided up into 3 parts. The first part is the part on resilience. The second part, we're going to talk about positive intelligence. And positive intelligence is all about, reducing the voice of that imposter syndrome. And the last part, you will be standing up and you will be doing things with me to help crank up your testosterone level because your body is a beautiful machine. This is just completely underused when we want to be confident. So let's start. Let's start with resilience. And I tell you another story, but this is my personal story. And if you want the 17 minutes version of it, I will forward you if you want to my link to my TEDx talk. My TEDx talk was actually called Bounce Forward, and it's all about resilience. Now, I want to take you back to the day I celebrated my 21st birthday. Perhaps all of you are 21. And if you think back about what happened, during your birthday, you probably had a good party, a couple of drinks. My birthday party was actually very, very different. That night, I had a car crash. And when the ambulance picked me up, the first time someone talked to me, I heard nothing. The first time I opened my eyes, I could see nothing. And when I tried to talk, I couldn't say anything. I was for 4 or 5 days in intensive care between life and death. And the result of the car crash, I had 11 broken bones just on my face. I was completely disfigured. So much so that when I was at hospital, my mom, my own mom, only could recognize me because of my feet. This is how disfigured I was. I underwent 28 hours of surgery. I'm physically declared 45% disabled. Trust me, if we meet in real life, you will not think so. But the hardest thing for me in this car crash is that I lost the love of my life. My boyfriend, Richard, did not survive the car crash. So that was me embarking. I had no other options but to embark into the resilience journey. Now, after 5 weeks in hospital, I thought I was ready. I was repaired. Technically speaking, I was repaired. I was still swelled up and the skin was yellow and blue and purple, but, I was okay. And I was ready to go back into the world. On the car park, on the hospital, the day I came back into the world, really wanted to, okay, it's going to be fine. Let's go for it. I passed by a woman And she hit the eyes of a little boy and said to him, "Don't look at that. It's a monster." I was 21 years old and I was called a monster. Now, as a young woman, especially in France, where your physicality is super important, if you look good or fresh or young like basically when you look young, it's everything is possible. You are you have the energy of youth, you know, and suddenly I was just reduced down to a monster because that was the perception of one person, and that became what I thought everyone was thinking of me. And that's not ideal. That's not ideal at all for the confidence. So confidence vanished. Now, the thing is, I was lucky enough because I knew what confidence was before. When I was 6 years old, I was passionate, and by the way, I'm still at 48, passionate about dancing. And I had no problem whatsoever going on stage, bossing people around, probably telling them that they were doing wrong when the only one who was doing something wrong was me. But I knew what was confidence, and it was gone. And that made me really, really unhappy. That was really difficult. And when I started my, working for corporations, I was working in sales. So what happens if you lack confidence in sales? What happens if you can't stand and just defend your project? It could be in sales, it could be in project management, as one of you were saying. It could be in front of peers. Look, you know what? Everyone has a talent, but I couldn't see that. So what was important for me was to actually, when I started to prepare my TEDx talk, that's when I managed to articulate the resilience process. And the resilience process, the way I see it, goes into 3 steps. The first one is when you need to assess everything that you have lost, because that's very easy to count what we have lost, okay? It's very easy to feel sorry for ourselves. But if you count it's like, it's like a balance sheet. If you count what you have lost, you also have to acknowledge what you have left and how far you can go with it. Emotionally, financially, intellectually, you have to make a true picture of the state you're at. The second step, which is extremely important, is to have a vision, because the vision is so much bigger than you. And we're so good at telling ourselves, oh my God, I'm not enough. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not engineer enough. No. We all have talents. So to shut down that voice, we need to think about something bigger and create a vision, create who you want to become. And it has to be as precise as possible, because if it's there, if you can smell it, if you can see it, if you can touch it, this is going to happen, because that's something to look at every single day. And the last part, because, to reach a vision, to reach a goal, you will need some grit. You're going to need to commit. So in my speech, actually, the third part is more about, appreciating the lessons learned. But when we are on a journey of making a change, we need to commit to the change. So right now, I'm going to share my screen with a piece of a document that I will be sharing as well with you that you can take away. But I want you to start your resilience journey right now about confidence. This is happening right now. So let me share the screen with a document that's going to help you. Okay, so this one, you're going to get it. So those are the foundation, acknowledge everything you are missing, and set the vision, imagine who you want to become, and commit to working towards that vision. So right now I'm going to leave that screen, and I'm going to leave you 3 minutes. Take a piece of paper with you. Oops, with the virtual, yeah. Take a piece of paper with you. Write down your starting point. I miss confidence when, and this is the consequences. This is what happened. People don't listen to me. People don't pay attention to me. I'm not visible. I get really nervous. I get steamrolled by my peers or whatever is happening when you describe the situation and the consequence of when your confidence vanishes. And then on top, write your vision. If I had confidence, I would kick ass, absolutely. You know, I would feel more successful. I will say yes to run this project. I will put my application forward to be the next leader in the company. Okay, so we've done the introduction, we've done the reflection. We are now within the content and we're over with the resilience. But this is something that is absolutely paramount for the next step. Positive intelligence. Basically, in terms of positive intelligence, I'm going to read you what it is. Positive intelligence is the science and practice of developing mastery over your own mind so you can reach your full potential for both happiness and success. And by the way, I am not being commissioned whatsoever. It's just a book I discovered and I like very much. Is this one, okay? Positive Intelligence from Shizrat Shamin. And it's a way basically for you to manage better your emotions. I'm going to touch only on 3 items of positive intelligence. And I want to take you back as well to the night just before I gave my TEDx talk. It was in Politecnico di Torino in Italy. And I had 12 friends in the room, you know, supporting me, doing the trip with me. But in front of me, I had a good number, a good audience of 357 people. It was in a big aula, you know, in a big auditorium, and it was fantastic. But the night before, I couldn't sleep because I kept hearing that little voice telling me, Cécile, you're not good enough. No one cares about your story. You're going to get it wrong. Okay, and that was going on and on and on. But I guess you can guess that I did manage to sleep that night because I had the tools to be able to turn down the volume of my imposter syndrome. So the first step is within the imposter syndrome, the first step I like to mention is understanding the relationship you have with yourself. And it's all down to self-esteem. Now, I want to get it very clear. I am not a life coach. I am not a shrink. I'm not in any way competent as a shrink or as a psychologue. All I'm giving you right now are the tools that I applied for myself, and I articulated them into tools that you can use if you wish. Okay, but I don't have knowledge in terms of, I don't have a degree in psychology. I stand before you as a communication specialist, as a communication professional. And guess what? Communication has a lot to do with psychology. So the first part, as I said, you know, it's about self-esteem. It's how comfortable are you with yourself? One of the exercises that I do with people when I'm lucky enough, you know, to see them face to face, is I pair people into two and ask them to give each other compliments for no specific reasons. And you have to give compliments and receive compliments within 1 minute. You have no idea the level of discomfort that's going through that room. People are really uncomfortable, and not just giving compliments, but also receiving. Receiving compliments is difficult for some. And it's basically most of the time, the little messages we're giving ourselves is nasty. And what I would really advise you to do is next time you hear a compliment, write it down on a piece of paper and glue it beside the coffee machine so you can read it every single morning for breakfast. Breakfast of the champion, a compliment. The other one as well that I like very much is the navigation tool. So the navigation tool is all about, and let me reshare the screen for that. And I'm going to use this Okay. The navigation tool is about, I think this is this one. Yes. Okay. It's the one in the middle here. It's about having a really, really good understanding of 4 items within your life. What are your skills? What are your passions? What are your values? And what is your life purpose? Once you have this frame, this is truly your confidence mojo. Why? Because it's a net. And whatever new situation happens, you can benchmark the new situation and say yes or no to it according to if it fits those 4 cornerstones. So for instance, for me, my passions are all about communication. My skills, well, I speak 2 languages. It's all I can do, French and English. That's it. I can't do German, even if I've been living in Switzerland, Zurich for 14 years. Then my values, it took me an awful lot of time to find them, but now I have them. So it's all about resilience, creativity, and equality. And my life purpose is to live by my values, because if I don't have that, it's not going to work. So whenever I have a new challenge, I ask myself, okay, is it going to be within my passion? Yes, no. Is it something that I know a little to do? Yes, no. Is it matching my values? Yes, no. Is it going to help my contribution to the world? Yes or no. If I've got 3 yes, I will probably most likely do it. Unless it touches the value, that's impossible for me to compromise on that. But think about it. It's not something that you will find straight away, but it's very interesting for you to spend some time to ask those questions, because that will be a rooter. That will be an element that, yes, okay, this situation might be difficult, but I'm willing to go outside my comfort zone much more easily because it's within a frame that corresponds to who I am at the core. And that's very, very important. The last part, it's very much onto the art of war. Let me know who read The Art of War. Can I just see a couple of hands from Sun Tzu? Did you read it? I'm just trying to see if we have. No, okay. That's the only thing I can read is no. Okay, so Sun Tzu is a very interesting book to read, especially if you are working with a team, if you are working to set up a project or running a project. It's all about tactics of wars that are very much applicable to corporate life and project life. And so once you identify the strongest voice of your saboteur, of your imposter syndrome, then you can detach yourself. And when you hear that little voice saying, "You're not good enough," you can just say, I'm about to do something important, and my judge is telling me that I'm not good enough, but this is not the case. So simply dissociating yourself is going to have a very, very positive effect. So you have to find a strategy to turn down the volume of your imposter syndrome. Another tool as well that Beyoncé was using for, I think, for a good 4 years, she was creating an avatar of herself. So when she went on stage, it was not Beyoncé, it was somebody else. And that somebody else was strong and sexy and didn't care. And she entered into this persona every time she was going on stage. I've discussed that avatar technique with a doctor in psychiatry. It's fine to do it sporadically on very specific situations, but not all the time, okay? I'm not saying it can lead to schizophrenia, but there were some concerns about that. But it's not enough, okay? What is the name of the book you recommended? Okay, so this is the name of the book it's called Positive Intelligence. Positive Intelligence. And if you type positive intelligence into the website, you will go automatically to his website. And something you can do after this session is you can run the test of which of the 10 saboteurs is the loudest Very interesting. And I ran the test a couple of months ago, and I was not surprised from the results. So, and Amy, I hope yes, okay. So Amy, you got the book. Excellent. So that's the part really on the what I wanted to say on the positive intelligence. So we've done resilience. Okay. Resilience is part of getting back to your confidence. One of the tools is positive intelligence. Think about the relationship you have with yourself and why those voices are always echoing at the most important moment, I'm guessing. Think about your compass, the 4 items, your skills, your passions, your values, and your life purpose, or your corporate purpose, if it matches with who you are. And last but not least, you need to find a strategy to detach yourself from those voices. We're going to move to the next step of the content. Okay, can you give me an example of the strategies, Alice? Okay. So for instance, I'm taking you back, Alice, and the rest of you guys, to the night before my TEDx talk. And I started to have a panic attack. So first of all, what I did was I recognized that it was a fear. And the fear usually is based on something that is not tangible. I know that a fear is an expression, a story I'm making about what could potentially happen. Okay. So first of all, I dissociate the fact that the reality and the story I'm telling myself. And if the story is like Armageddon, it's like bombs everywhere, catastrophe, I open my mouth and I can't speak on everything, I remind myself about all the steps I've done before going on stage. I'm not kidding you. I worked hundreds of hours on that speech. And I know I was ready. And I'm glad I was ready. Okay. I did everything to tick all the boxes. And then I said to myself, this is you expressing your life purpose. You are going to talk about resilience in a creative way. You're going to do it through the fact that this is your passion. You're on stage, you're communicating. What can go wrong? So I was basically deconstructing every feelings I had, recognizing that it was a story I was making up. Okay. Did that give me my confidence back? Not 100%, but I stopped panicking. And I knew I was going to panic anyway. So I thought, oh, okay, that's it. It's a start. Now let's get into the techniques. Alice, is it enough for you to understand how I did it? To disconstruct and take perspective. So basically my judge or my imposter is telling me you are going to fail. So it's a way of recognizing Cécile is not going to fail. The imposter is telling her a story. It's up to me, my conscience, my logic to make it true or not. It cannot be true. I worked so hard. It's not possible. Okay. Yes, I got it. Okay, fantastic. Good. So, but okay, Elisa, and how about unexpected daily life situation where one cannot prepare well, where are there strategies that work very quickly? Okay, I think the part on the body might be helping Elisa, but one of the things I want to mention, Elisa, that might just basically answer part of your question is during the talk, at some point, the audience stood up and started to clap and cheered me up. And I did not expect that. But it's part of life. So what I did, I just welcomed it and thought, fantastic. I was so ready for everything I can control that now something I cannot control, I'm just going to be with them, thank them, and laugh with them. Okay, you basically can just much more easily consider what is in your control. My preparation time was completely under my responsibility. But what happens next? I couldn't say, no, I'm not done. Please sit down. No, they were giving me the gift of, of their energy. I was not going to say, no, sorry, I need to follow my script. No, you have to leave space for things that are unexpected. So, Elisa, I just answered partially to your question, but let's move, because that's going to give you some more. The body. The body is a magnificent machine. I can't tell you the amount of years I spent hating my body because it was not like this, it was not like that. My face is a bit funny. And, and it's just seriously, this is our best companion. It's always there every morning. It's there functioning. So one of the things we can use for our confidence is the body. So I'm going to give you a couple of stages that I use as well that I think are really strong. And again, in the document you will receive, you will get more that will work chronologically before a communication moment or a discussion that is where a lot is at stake. So the first one, I like to visualize my body in the communication situation. Even meeting with you virtually, I imagine how you will respond to, my very specific way of approaching confidence and giving you confidence. And I was just, imagining faces smiling and being happy. Hopefully this is how you feel right now. Okay, but visualizing sets your mind and your body into this positive momentum. And that's what you need. The second one, and could you please all open up your camera because I want to see everyone doing it. We're going to stand up. Okay, I'm told, so I have to go back. All right. We're going to stand up. So ideally you want to do that before a communication moment. So you stand up and you stand up like my friend. Well, she has her arm crossed, but usually, we are moving up and we are Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, you keep that. I'm going to tell you what's happening right now in your body, guys, okay? So when you do the Wonder Woman, what happens is that you're rising up the amount of testosterone. And you're working with guys, so it makes you invincible, the testosterone. So the more of an expanded posture you have, the stronger you feel. And of course, there is, if you stay like that for 3 minutes and think, I'm on top of the world and I'm going to make it. Okay, this is, a little bit of self-fulfilling prophecy, but why not? There was actually a study that was done with Amy Cuddy. Now, Amy Cuddy is a scientist that works in Harvard University. She specializes on nonverbal communication. She wanted to know if there was specific posture that could trigger a positive or negative response in terms of confidence within or the projection. Could you please all sit down? Thank you so much. And she discovered by, taking blood out of people that were taking that posture for 3 minutes, that there was a rise in testosterone. So they felt more confident. The one that had a more, collapsed, I don't know if you do that at work, where you just put you cross your legs and then you wrap your leg around the calf of the other leg. Like if there is a fire, you can't run with that, okay? And so by contrast of the power pose, we have the weak pose. And the weak pose that are really inwards, they are the one, unfortunately, that will trigger more stress hormones. And again, in the environment she did her test, there was actually, in terms of the projection as well, people felt that they were in front of people that were less competent. This study has been debunked on a couple of occasions, but I've been using that with my clients for the last 8 years. I've got clients, they were physically sick before presentation to management. And they have been using that. And that has been really, really helping. Now, let me reframe that. you know, when you go from vomiting before a meeting because of stress to I feel fear, but I manage the fear, it's a huge, huge, huge contrast. Okay. And that's what happened with some people. So the confidence, it's something that comes and go, but you can manage it and you can make more space for it. So that's the power stand. Another one as well is the breathing. Okay. If you feel in certain situation a lot of stress, there is a breathing that we can all do together right now. We're going to inhale on 4 counts. You hold 7 counts and you exhale 8 counts. Let me do it. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale 4. Block for 7. Exhale on 8. It's very easy. But when we get a bit worked up about the situation, we tend to breathe on the upper level. And it's quite easy. If you put yourself in front of a mirror, you will see your shoulder going like that. If it goes like that, it means your breathing is not deep enough, is not going to help you recover confidence and handle all the crazy emotion that can just go by. One last exercise that I would like to do again, we're going to stand up again. It's about the presence. So often case when we are in a dynamic where we think about everything that could go wrong in the future, we forget to be in the present moment. So I've got a little trick for you. Let's see. So you're going to stand up and you're going to put your arms like an albatross. You're going to take your right feet and put the heel. I'm just going, so you right. Okay, fantastic. So you are going to put the heel of your right feet on your left toe. So your feet are really like that. And you're standing with an albatross. So because it's going to challenge your balance. Once you're in that situation, close your eyes and I'm going to count until 20. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your camera on so I can see you struggling. Alice, yes. Bigger, Alice. Really stretch your arms. That would be easier. Yes, absolutely. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 and a half, 15, 16, 17. I'm not good with numbers anyway. What was I? 16? No, it was 19, 20. Thank you very much. So what's happening again, you know, you are triggering, you're using your body. There are so many things to think about with your eyes closed, with your feet like that. You're completely unbalanced and it's taking a lot of effort and your mind runs away from the fear, runs away from something else because you have to concentrate on the present moment, not falling off. And that's a fantastic tool, something I use every single time before I go on stage. And talking about going on stage as well, and I want to end on that as well for the body works, is basically the nonverbal. Your nonverbal posture is going to play an awful lot. I mean, you experience it by doing Wonder Woman. Don't do a presentation like that because that's a bit funny. But, you know, you can just use the space. Okay, in the virtual reality, this is now your new space here. But otherwise, when you are in a meeting room, just stand up and walk up and down and look at people in the eyes and make big, you know, big movements and smile, you know, exude confidence, because then that's the perception you're going to give them. So we talked about resilience, talking about the mindset as well with positive intelligence. And we just covered the body works. Now it's time for you to be challenged. One more time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and individually, you're going to pick one of those 4 challenges. Okay, so the next time you're going to be in a situation of stress where you feel your confidence may vanish, okay, so before the next meeting, I want to power stand for 3 minutes before I talk to my peers. Next time I have a challenging situation or communication, I'm going to breathe for 5 minutes and I'm going to do this exercise. Or next time or tonight or after this workshop, I want to think about my own navigation tool and what can really make sense for me. Or I can work on my vision. Thank you so much for joining. I had fun with you. I hope you had a good time as well. And check the agenda because you might see my face a little bit more on influence and on how to make impactful presentation. Okay? It was lovely to see you all.